of this product is SAP S4HANA Logistics. Okay, so I'll just give you the brief overview of why exactly we are calling this course as SAP Simple Logistics and what was the reason behind the many people think that this is SAP Simple Logistics because more people know this product with this name rather than SAP S4HANA Logistics. So it all started in 2011, okay, when you must have heard that SAP came up with SAP HANA database. Okay, and now after coming up with HANA database, SAP thought of improvising their own product. So we already used SAP ECC. We are currently also, there are many customers who are using SAP ECC on some traditional databases because SAP was supporting that till 2011. So there are many companies who are running on ECC with Oracle, SQL Server and some other databases. But after 2011, when SAP came up with SAP HANA, many of the customers, they instead of going with SAP ECC on these traditional databases, they selected to go ahead with HANA database, although it was still optional. So for the new customers also, it was still optional that they can go for either the traditional databases or they can go with the SAP HANA database. Now that was not the end. SAP HANA was just a beginning. After SAP HANA came into picture, SAP thought of improvising their own product. And that is exactly what they have done, and they came up with a completely new product now called as SAP S4HANA. Now, when we are saying it is a new product, it doesn't mean that it is completely developed from scratch. That is not the case at all. They have used the functionalities of SAP ECC, but they came up with a lot of other benefits. That is the reason instead of calling the product as a new version of SAP ECC, they are calling it as a separate, altogether new product because there are a lot of new things which are never available in ECC. But definitely the basics, the components are coming from ECC itself. The normal functionalities that we were running in ECC, many of the functionalities are copied as it is. Now again, still we are not reached to why it is called as SAP Simple Logistics. So as I told you, they wanted to improvise the product, and the first improvisation they made was only in the finance module. The first improvisation that they made was only in the finance module, and they named this product as SAP Simple Finance. So you must have heard that there is a product from SAP called as SAP Simple Finance. Okay, and that is the reason that everybody was expecting that similar to SAP Simple Finance, SAP will also come up with SAP Simple Logistics in future, which never happened because SAP Simple Finance can work independently. Okay, so if I want to run SAP Simple Finance, I can use the simplifications which are available from SAP S4HANA without touching any other logistics functionalities. But when I want to run the simplified functionalities of logistics, it is mandatory that my Simple Finance is also available, and that is the reason you cannot have Simple Logistics separated from Simple Finance. Simple Finance can be separated, it can run independently, but when we are talking about Simple Logistics, it can run only with Simple Finance, and that is the reason there is no point in giving the product name as Simple Logistics. Instead of that, they call this product as SAP S4HANA, which includes both, that is finance as well as logistics. So at many places you will hear this term called as SAP Simple Logistics because this is something most of the people know. The name of the product actually is SAP S4HANA Logistics, but more and more people know this old name. That is the reason they get confused. So just to avoid the confusion, there is nothing called as SAP Simple Logistics as a product from SAP. The product that we are understanding is SAP S4HANA. Now within SAP S4HANA, as I told you, there is Simple Finance and there is Simplified Logistics. We are going to talk about only logistics component in this course. We are not going to touch Simple Finance. Only towards the end, I'll just give you the basic overview of what has been changed from the finance point of view. But otherwise, we are going to concentrate more on the logistics functionalities in this course. So I just given you the background of why SAP Simple Logistics, but actual name is SAP S4HANA Logistics. But now, before going into detail of what is new in SAP S4HANA, okay, just before going it, let me just introduce myself. I forgot to introduce in the beginning. My name is Gaurav and I am working with SAP from last 10 years. Now I'm going to complete around 11 years now. So over these years, I worked on as a different roles. I worked on the project management capacity. I worked on the solution architect kind of role. And from last 2.5 years, I'm working on the new components or the new versions that SAP is coming up with. So after SAP HANA, whatever new versions or new products that SAP came up with, like SAP Simple Finance, SAP S4HANA, I'm managing all these new dimensional technologies as of today in my organization. Okay, now let me just take you to the benefits of SAP S4HANA over the ECC. So first of all, the question which will come to your mind is, we all know that SAP is the biggest player in the ERP industry. So many of us know that it is the best ERP product which is available in the market. But still, there are some areas in ECC which are where there is a chance of improvement. Just for example, if I ask you, what do you think is a pain point in running SAP system? So definitely 8 out of the 10 customers will say that although it is a very good product in terms of integration, it is a very good product in terms of the processes which it supports, but still there are some challenges like the reporting. Many of the times whenever we go for reporting, whenever we ask for any Z reports, it provides us the data, but the time it takes is huge. Okay, just for example, the MRP process, we run the MRP run on the regular basis, it takes hours to complete that MRP run. So although MRP is a very good functionality which is provided by SAP, but still the time it takes is something which is the area of improvement. So how exactly SAP is going to handle that? How SAP can improvise on that particular area? And that is exactly why SAP came up with the HANA database, because the traditional databases that SAP was supporting, like Oracle, SQL Server, there were some pain points in that databases due to which it was not possible to improvise the speed through which the reports are getting generated. But with SAP HANA, now it is possible that you can get the reports in the faster way. How exactly? That is something we'll understand the capabilities of SAP HANA, like in-memory computing, column-based data storage. There are many different features which are available in HANA which makes it faster. But the ultimate motive of coming up with SAP HANA database was to make sure that the reports are running on time. The speed is achieved. So this was the first problem. The second problem was high cost of operations. What is high cost of operations? When your customer is running SAP, he needs to invest a lot of cost on day-to-day basis. For example, he needs to hire a team who will be taking care of inputting the transactions in the system, data entry, right? He needs someone who can make sure the data is entered into the system on time. At the same time, not only the team, we need the hardware also. In order to do the transactions, we cannot do the transactions on mobile as of today. You need to do the transactions on your laptops or on your computers. So each and every person who is responsible for doing the transaction, they need to have either the laptop or the computer in place. At the same time, as we know that SAP is not very easy to understand for the new users. So for example, if a person is joining the organization, He has not worked on SAP earlier. So to provide the training to him, it is a huge cost for the company because they need to provide the proper training. They need to make sure that there are very few errors the user is making in the system when he's using the system for the first time. And if he's making the errors, again the cost of you need to perform the rectifications and the adjustments. So to avoid all this, SAP has now came up with a new user interface. New user interface means how we can simplify the way in which the transactions can be performed in the system. So as I told you earlier, in order to do the transactions, you need a team. Definitely now also you need a team, but the amount of time required to perform per transaction will come down to 1/4. So for example, if you are doing the transaction, let's say if you are creating a purchase order in ECC system, and let's assume that you are taking 1 minute to do that transaction because you need to manually enter a lot of things in the purchase order. You need to remember the transaction code or you need to remember the path. Okay, so keeping in mind all these things, let's say if you are investing 1 minute of time in performing one transaction, now according to SAP, if you go with the new user interface, you will end up in doing the same transaction in 15 to 20 seconds. So you are reducing your time, which means reducing the effort, which means reducing the team size, and you are saving the cost on operations. Not only that, many transactions now can be done on the tabs also. Maybe mobile device also, but it is not possible to do all the things from mobile, even if SAP provides you that option, but still it is not very convenient to perform the transactions on mobile, but at least on the tabs. So let's take an example of sales representatives who are doing the, let's say, creation of sales order, or maybe they are creating the requirements. So for them, it will not be mandatory now to carry a laptop. They can carry a tab through which they can do some of the basic transactions. So that is the second benefit. And third, as I told you, the training which you need to provide to the user. Currently, it is the screens are very complicated. That is the reason there are very high chances of errors. You need to spend a lot of time to provide the training to the end user. But now, with the new user interface, the way in which your transactions will be done are very simple. So the screens are simpler. They are just like the mobile apps that you are running on day-to-day basis. It will be easy for the end users to perform that transactions. Okay, so which means less amount of time required, less amount of resources required, and also less amount of training required. So with this, you can save a lot of operation cost. So this new user experience is nothing but SAP Fiori. You must have heard about the term called as SAP Fiori. So SAP Fiori is going to be the next user interface. It is going to completely replace the way in which we perform the transactions as of today. Finally, high cost of infrastructure. This is again one of the problem. So let's take an example of a company who wants to implement SAP for the first time. In that case, the first thing that they need to do is they need to purchase the hardware and the software licenses to use SAP. Software is fine, licenses is anyways required, but what about hardware? You need to purchase a lot of the hardware devices, like you need to purchase the servers, you need to purchase the networking devices, you need to purchase the database server, application server. There are a lot of things. On top of that, in order to maintain that hardware, you also need to deploy the team. Okay, so this is a huge cost. This is a huge one-time cost that the companies need to invest as of today. But with SAP S4HANA, SAP is providing the option of the cloud solution, which means now you don't need to purchase the hardware. You just need to pay some licensing fees. You just need to pay some subscription fees, and everything, all the hardware will be maintained by the third party. Okay, so which means that the one-time investment that you are required to make as of today, that will come down because you are just paying the subscription fees based on the number of users that they are going to use the system. Okay, so that will be again one of the very relief to the customers who are implementing SAP for the first time. So these are all the points that we discussed. They are going to help from either the a user point of view or from the technical point of view or from the speed point of view. But we are not discussed anything related to the functionality. What will be the impact on the functionality? So obviously, when you want to achieve the speed, there are some changes in the architectural level. Architectural level means the way in which the transactions are processed in the background. So today, if I am performing the Migo transaction, let's say there are 10 different tables which are getting updated in the background. So instead of updating these 10 tables and keeping the repeated information in these 10 tables, can I bring down to 5 tables, for example? That is exactly what SAP is thinking in that direction, and they are coming up with less and less tables. So many of the tables are completely removed. There are one or two new tables which are in place, which are going to take care of the entire data at one place. Okay, so this is from, again, from the technical level, the table level changes. But in order to support this table level changes, SAP has made some of the changes in the functionalities also. The functionalities like the output determination, the way in which the output is determined. There is some changes at the master data. For example, the way in which you maintain the customer and vendor master. As of today in ECC, it is no longer supported. So you cannot use XK01, XT01. They will directly give you the error. Okay, so these transactions are not supported. You need to create a business partner mandatorily. Okay, so these are some of the changes from the master data point of view. Then coming to the as I told you, purchase order determination, output determination, you have pricing simplifications, the way in which the pricing is handled. You have the changes related to the material ledger functionality. When you come from the SD side, you have the changes in the credit management functionality, rebate processing, the MRP process has been simplified. So these are some of the things which are changed from the functionality point of view. Okay, so overall, this is what exactly has been changed. So now I will just take you to the Excel in which I have written down the topics that we are going to cover in this particular course. So let me just show you that Excel sheet, and then I will give you the time to clarify your doubts, and whatever doubts, whatever queries you have, I will give you sufficient time to go ahead with your questions. Just give me a minute. Let me just open the Excel sheet for you. Okay, I hope you are able to see the Excel sheet now. So these are the topics that we are going to discuss. I have clearly written whatever will be covered in this course. So wherever I have written the overview, it means it is just the overview, because we cannot cover the complete SAP HANA, we cannot complete the complete SAP Fiori, but whatever topics we can cover, you will find that we have clearly written that everything related to the customization, everything related to the configuration, transaction processing, that will be covered. So let me just start off with SAP HANA overview. So as you know, SAP HANA is a, we'll say it is a database, okay, for our information purpose, although it is called as a platform. I'll talk about what exactly, why exactly it is called as a platform, but for now just understand this as a database. So SAP HANA being a technical topic, we are not going to enter into depth in SAP HANA, but we'll be having one session in which we'll be discussing all these terms. You must have heard in-memory computing, you must have heard column-based data storage, but what exactly are they? What is the difference between row-based data storage and column-based data storage? Okay, so let's say, for example, if you are going to the customer visit and being a SAP S4HANA expert, and the customer is asking you, okay, so you are here for SAP S4HANA, can you tell me what are the benefits of using SAP HANA database? So these things you can very clearly tell that it is in-memory computing, column-based data storage, but when he asks in detail, normally it is not very easy to explain him, because you need to understand from the technical point of view how row-based and column-based is different. Okay, so that is something which we'll be discussing in detail in one of the sessions which we'll be starting off with on HANA overview. The second session that we'll be having is on the key enablers of SAP S4HANA. The key enablers means When we talk about SAP S4HANA, as we discussed, SAP HANA is a backbone of SAP S4HANA. Second backbone is SAP Fiori. I'll not say backbone, but it is a key enabler because it is allowing you to make sure that you are able to do the transactions in the faster way, in the simpler way. And third being the business processes. So what are the new business processes? What are the simplifications available? So these are the three key enablers of SAP S4HANA, which will help you understand what exactly is SAP S4HANA, how it is different than the ECC. Okay, and then we'll talk about the activate methodologies. There will be around 2 sessions in which we'll be talking about the new methodology. So currently the methodology that we use, as you know, it is ASAP methodology, ASAP methodology. There are some changes now. The way in which we'll be carrying out the SAP S4 projects, it is not exactly same as ASAP. There are some changes, there are some new phases which are added, there are some phases which are deleted, there are some names replaced with the new names. So that all things we'll be talking about activate methodology, and also I'll share the documentations link through which you can download the free content which is available from SAP, which will help you to carry out the project with the use of SAP Activate methodology. Okay, then we'll have the first look to SAP S4 system. I'll show you the system, how it looks like, how SAP Fiori screens look like, how they are connected to each other. All these things we'll discuss. And then we will start everything from scratch. So I'll be showing you complete configuration of enterprise structure, which we will be using to demonstrate the new functionalities. So everything like company code, purchase org, sales org, we'll be doing everything from scratch just to make sure that the thing has been changed. Okay, from the enterprise structure point of view. Master data, as I told you, there is change in the material master, there is a change in the customer vendor master, which is called as business partner master. Okay, so we'll talk in detail. There will be around 2 sessions on this, how to create a customer in SAP S4 and how to create a vendor in SAP S4 and how they are related to business partner, what are the configurations required, what are the checks that you need to perform, all these things we'll talk about in the master data changes. Then we'll talk about the overview. This overview doesn't mean that we are not going to talk in detail. This means our first session will concentrate on what has been changed from point of view, and then we will dig into the functionalities. So we'll talk about what has been changed from the material ledger point of view, pricing point of view, data modeling point of view, output determination, and also we'll be showing you some of the Fiori apps which you can use to carry out your transactions, like creation of purchase requisition, converting purchase requisition to purchase order, doing the GRNs, all these things we'll see using SAP Fiori apps. So this will be the complete practical session, which will take around 2 to 3 sessions to complete these topics. And then some of the theoretical things, like some things which are changed in the foreign trade management and SRM. Why we are not taking this practical session? The reason is nothing has been changed. Only thing is the foreign trade has been replaced with the GTS functionality, and some of the functionalities which are available in SRM, they are planned to be available directly in the S4 system. So as you know that this too requires a separate system, GTS and SRM, so which is beyond the scope of the SAP S4 system. So once we are done with the overview, which will take around 5 to 6 sessions, we'll talk about the SD. In SD, again we'll talk about the data modeling changes, pricing, output determination, credit management, and there is a change in the SD rebate processing also. So these things we'll be seeing practically, which will take around 3 to 4 sessions to complete the practical part, and overall we'll talk about the revenue recognition, foreign trade, and CRM again, which is also going to be the theoretical session, which will help you to understand what are the changes which are available in these 3 modules or in 3 functionalities. Then there will be the practical session on MRP Live. This is a new functionality which is only available with SAP HANA database. So how it is going to be beneficial, how to run that, what are the configurations required, what are the checks required, what are the programs available. All these things we'll discuss in the practical sessions on MRP Live. So we'll need around 2 sessions on the MRP Live functionality. Once we are done with the changes related to MM, ST, and from PP point of view MRP live, we will directly go to the conversion process. So till here, whatever we discussed from the new project point of view. So we are configuring everything from scratch. But we also need to understand, what if the customer is already using SAP? How he is going to migrate to SAP S4HANA? So that type of project is called as a conversion project. Conversion means customer is already using ECC and now he wants to upgrade his system to SAP S4. So that particular thing, what are the process, what are the process phases, what are the tools that SAP has provided, we'll talk in complete detail during the conversion process. The practical session on converting the customers and vendors into the business partners, because here we just understood how to create the new customers in SAP S4. But in this, we are going to discuss, what if I'm using ECC and I have thousands of customers who are already available in ECC, how am I going to convert them into business partners? Because I cannot use the same customers in SAP S4. I first need to convert them into the business partners. So how to do that? And we'll be talking about the conversion cockpit. So SAP has provided a conversion cockpit which will be helpful in carrying out the conversion activities like the data migration, the data configuration, all these things are available in the conversion cockpit. And finally, we'll be talking about the overview to SAP Simple Finance. As I told you, I will be just giving you the overview of what has been changed from the finance point of view in SAP S4HANA. All these things we are going to discuss on the latest version of SAP S4HANA, that is 1610, which was launched in October 2016. Okay, so this is all about the course. I hope you got the complete detail of what is expected out of this course. Now if you have any questions, you can just raise your hand. I hope you know how to do that. If not, you can just ping me on the chat screen. I'll be unmuting you one by one. Okay, I think there is one hand already raised. Let me just unmute. Yes, Madan, I just unmuted you. Madan, are you able to hear me? Krishna, I think I'm not able to unmute. Can you just unmute from your side? No, we cannot hear you, Madan. Just give me a minute. Krishna, are you there? Yeah, Raju, Mr. Raju, I just unmuted you. Go ahead.
Yeah, Gaurav. Like I have a question. Like currently, I'm into GTS. How it going to help me? This like you are saying that foreign trades and you are giving only the theoretical. How it going to help me for this S4HANA?
No, if you are from GTS, there is no change in the GTS. Only difference is the customers who are not using GTS till now. The customers who are using MM foreign trade management or ST foreign trade management, now they don't have that option. They need to mandatorily migrate to GTS now. But whatever functionalities are available in GTS, they will remain as it is.
Okay. In a sense, like here, this you're saying, but GTS, the functionality is not going to affect this, right?
Yes, as of now, GTS functionality is available as it is. Only difference is that GTS is now mandatory if you want to perform the foreign trade compliance, because earlier there was an option that either you can use GTS or you can use MM foreign trade management or SD foreign trade management, which has a limited functionalities, right? But now That foreign trade management is completely removed from SAP S4 and only option available is GTS. So more and more
Okay.
customers will migrate to GTS.
Okay, and then you mentioned here in the CRM, like what is the significance of CRM in this S4? For this, you mentioned here like all SD and MM related, right? But what is the significance and changes in S4?
See, CRM, as you know today, if I talk about ECC, so you have a ECC system and there is a separate CRM system which is interfaced with ECC, right?
Yes.
Now, going forward in SAP S4, as of today, it is still available in the same way. So you have SAP S4 system, you have a CRM system which can be interfaced with each other. But going forward, the plan is that the CRM functionalities will become part of your SAP S4, which means you don't need two separate servers. Everything will be available on SAP S4. So as of today, very few functionalities in 1610 are already available on SAP S4, and all the functionalities from CRM point of view, they are still available as same in CRM.
Okay. Okay, Gaurav. That's. Thank you.
Yeah. Raju, I just muted you back. Let me just unmute the other guys. I think nobody has, yes. I think Shaji.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gaurav, see this delta changes what we are talking in SAP S4HANA and logistics and the finance is very small. Is it like maybe similar
Mm-hmm.
20 to 30%? If the companies are expecting that as a functional consultant to know both minor financial and logistics things as a functional
No,
consultant?
no, no, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all, not at all. See, what will happen is, if you are, let's say, what is your background? You are from MMST or what?
SDST.
Okay. So let's say you are a SD consultant. Now, in your company, you are the expert in SD. There is some other person who is expert in MM, and there is a third person who is expert in PP, for example. Now, your company has got a project on SAP S4. So although you are expert in your own areas when you talk about ECC, but none of you knows what has been changed. Although you said only 25 to 30% are the changes, but again that changes are very critical, right? So they cannot give the project to you and carry out in the same way as you were doing in ECC. It will not be possible, right? So in that case, if you are aware of the changes, the delta changes in SAP S4, it is not necessary that the other guys from SD and PP, they also need to go through, or they also need to understand these changes. You can convince your manager that I'll take care of all the SAP S4 because I know my SD part very well. At the same time, I also know what has been changed from MM point of view and PP point of view in SAP S4. So maybe I'll be able to help them. This is one option. Other option, which is very common these days, is the companies are hiring the SAP S4HANA consultant who will be taking care of, like, you will be given the MM, SD and PP. On top of that, you will be the fourth person who will be making sure that whatever has been the new innovations in SAP S4, that part you will be taking care of. But finance, nowhere it is going to be with you. If you are at a very high level, maybe if you are a let's say the solution architect or more than that, in that case it may happen that you are whole and sole responsible for SAP S4, but otherwise as a senior consultant or lead consultant level, it is enough that if you have the knowledge of logistics processes.
Okay. And one more question. Presently, with in S4 HANA, we have consultants like before SD and all. Is logistic
Mm-hmm.
consultant and is it like data modeling, data analyzing, something like that? How it is? What all functional and technical consultants are there in this S4 HANA?
No, see, same way, like even in ECC we have some functional consultants, we have some technical consultants. So here also there will be more technical consultants in the way, like the Fiori is something which was not available in ECC, or maybe it was available also in a very few clients. So there will be the new type of competency that will be SAP Fiori. But otherwise, being the functional consultant, your responsibilities, as I told you, it will be either be SD plus S4 or you will be directly responsible as S4. But otherwise, ABAP, Basis, HANA, they will keep their scope as it was in ECC.
Because I asked this question, someone saying that I heard this HANA is not giving much importance to ABAP. It is basically based out of SQL and all. That's why I asked this question.
No, no, no. That is something which is very commonly, like many people say that, but still, as I told you, the basic, when we talk about the SAP system, it is totally based on ABAP. Everything is written in ABAP in the background. And as I told you, most of the functionalities, they are copied into SAP S4. So the basic functionalities, like for example, we are not talking about many functionalities here. Why we are not talking about the purchase order processing, or why we are not talking about some other functionalities. The reason is they are as it is. So definitely ABAP is involved. Only thing is, earlier, I'll tell you why they say this. Earlier, whatever reports you want to create, whatever custom objects you want to build, you were totally dependent on ABAP. And in ABAP, everything was hard-coded. It was written in the hard coding. But now with SAP HANA, there is something called as modeling. So it is like easy to create the reports, but it doesn't mean the scope of ABAP will go, ABAP will remain as it is.
Yeah, fine.
Okay. MB, I don't know the name. Please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, hi Gaurav, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, thanks for the demo, Gaurav. I got a few questions. First one is, how long do you provide access for the people who is going to join the course?
See, that is one of the questions that you need to check. I don't know whether Krishna is there online or not. So maybe after this call, they will provide you the complete information regarding the fees, the server that they are going to provide you, and some other details like the documentations and all. Documentations, I can tell you, I'll be providing you some of the standard SAP documentations plus my PPTs, which will help you to understand it well. But otherwise, the system access, the fees, all these things you can discuss with the coordinators, either Krishna or Sana, whoever is coordinating with you.
Right, and these will be live sessions, right? Not recorded sessions.
No, no, no. This will be live sessions. Not
live sessions. Okay. And on the practicals, do you actually go through a real conversion, say for a company which is using an existing SAP R3 into R4? Would you do an example, a real-time example?
No. That is a good question. So see, whatever I written here, converting customers vendor to business partners, this I'll be doing practical.
Yeah, that's master data, right?
Why?
Yeah.
Because this, yes. But other things like this conversion cockpit, so you must understand that nobody is going to give you the system. Okay, and at the same time, even if somebody gives you the system, it is not practically possible with the resources we have to upgrade the system to SAP technically from the technical HANA basis point of view. We don't have that much resources. So I'll be just showing you what are the things that you need to take care, what are the tools that SAP has provided, what are the different documentations that will be helpful to you, and the cockpit, like what is the meaning and what is the scope of each and every cockpit activity. But we'll not be able to see the practical conversion because that is something which is not something which is you can understand the resources are restricted to us.
Okay. Another question is SPRO customizations. So do we have similar customizations in S4 or is it going to be completely different? Do you still have this transaction SPRO or how does it work?
Yes. So see what SAP is saying now is in SAP S4, as of today there are two versions. As you know, there is on-premise version and there is on-cloud version. Now in on-premise, the SPRO screens are available as it is. There are no Fiori apps provided for the configuration. Okay. But that doesn't mean that it will remain as it is. The plan is to replace each and every SPRO transaction with the corresponding Fiori app. But that will take time because Fiori apps are under development. There are
Okay.
the from the user point of view, many apps are already available, but from the
Okay.
consultant point of view, they are still under development. So maybe 1 year down the line or 2 years down the line, we have 1710 or maybe 1810. There will be a lot of apps which will be available through which you can configure. But from the cloud point of view, SAP has already provided some of the apps. I'll say around 2 or 5% of the apps which can you can skip SPRO and you can do the configuration directly from Fiori. But again, only 2 to 5%.
Okay, 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 okay. Right. And would you also cover all the topics pertaining to SD or very few topics? Because in your screen, I could see that you are covering pricing, output, credit, but there are quite a lot of other topics, right? So, like for example, text determination.
I'll be covering, yes, I'll be covering only data. So for example, the text determination is not changed. So there is no point in talking about the functionality which was available as it is.
Okay, okay, okay. So you're going to cover only
For
the
example,
topics
the
which are
way,
changed.
yes, we are only going to talk about the deltas, which
Okay,
are new in SAP S4.
okay, 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 okay. And obviously you will be doing some examples, like example sales orders and take it through the invoice and FA
Yes, yes,
posting.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever is practical, we'll be doing all the things, master data, configuration, transaction, reports, examples,
Okay.
we'll do everything.
Okay, okay. And last question is about programs. You did cover a little bit previously. So these programs will remain as it is, right? What changes will undergo these programs? Like the current program, let's say sales order creation program, we have a number of changes, for example. And would this program be copied into S4HANA as it is, or would it undergo a complete change? Would it be revamped when it goes into
Are
S4HANA?
you are you talking about the standard programs or the Z programs?
Standard programs with, say, few user exits, with custom user exits.
Yes, see, the standard programs, wherever there is no functionality change will remain as it is. For example,
Okay. Yeah.
we talked
Yeah.
about SD repeat processing. So earlier there were some programs or the
Okay.
user exits which will not remain now because this functionality is not
Yeah.
available and it has
Yeah.
been replaced with new functionality. So
Okay.
obviously new programs will come in the
Correct.
future. Same
Correct.
is the case with Z programs. So when you are talking about, let's say you were using ECC system in the
Yeah.
conversion
Yeah.
and now you want to migrate to SAP S4. So in
Okay.
that case, what will be the future of the Z programs? Let's say you created 100
Yeah.
custom objects. What will
Yeah.
be the, how they will be handled? So
Mm-hmm.
for that, some of the custom objects, if there is no change in the functionality, they will remain as it is. While
Mm-hmm.
some of the custom objects, because the functionality itself is not available, they need to be adjusted.
Okay. Okay. And whose job would that be? Would that be part of technical, or do you consider it also to be functional consultant role?
Now see, now, for example, if I ask you,
Yeah.
go to a particular SAP ECC system and identify how many adjustments are required. So it
Mm-hmm.
is like a very big,
Mm-hmm.
like you cannot identify all the custom objects, right? That
True.
is the reason SAP has provided some tools. As I told you, I'll be showing you some
Right.
tools. In
Right.
this
Okay.
tool, there is one tool called as custom code analyzer. What is the
Mm.
purpose of that tool is it will go through all the custom objects.
Okay.
It will verify whether these custom objects will run as they were working in ECC or they need adjustment. So let's
Okay.
say
Okay.
there are 100 custom objects and it will give you the report that 80 will work as it is. These are the 20 custom objects which require some of the adjustment. Now again,
Okay.
when the adjustment is required, it will come to you as a consultant. You need to
Mm.
verify whether
Mm.
these 20 are really, they are using currently or they are just created in ECC and they are not using. Let's say out of 20, you identify 10 which are being used actually. So
Yeah.
you need to make that adjustments, and again, whenever you're talking about adjustment, you need the ABAP help also, right?
Right. 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 Okay. 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 Thanks, Gaurav. That's clear.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Let me just answer one or two questions from the chat screen. Yeah, somebody asked for, okay, this was MB itself who asked for the system access. I already answered that. Please take with the coordinators. And Sharan is asking for, I'm working as PP and APO consultant. Will this course help? This course will help you see. Don't, again, this is not a course which will help you in your own module. For example, APO, as of today, it is still available as it is. So there is no change in APO. The plan is to bring APO functionalities also within SAP S4, as I talked about CRM and SRM. So going forward, the APO functionalities will be also available directly within SAP S4. And from PP point of view, we are talking about a functionality called as MRP Live. So this is the functionality that we are talking about. Otherwise, there are not much changes in PP. So I hope I answered your question. So from PP point of view, we are going to talk about MRP Live, and from APO point of view, we are not going to talk anything because it is still available as a separate product. The future plan is to bring APO again into SAP S4. There is another question from Syed. He's asking, he's SAP MM side consultant, do not know much about SD. No need to worry, because even if you don't know SD, let's say for example, whenever I'm talking about these functionalities, data model, pricing, output determination, so I'll make sure that I will tell you how the things were happening in ECC, and then only I will tell you what has been changed in SAP S4. So even if you don't have, it is normal, right? Not all of you are expert in MM, SD, PP, all three modules. Somebody is expert in SD, someone is in MM, and someone is in PP. So no need to worry. All these three topics, whatever I'm going to talk about, you will be able to understand, because I'll be talking about how it was handled in ECC vis-a-vis how it will be handled in SAP S4. Okay, and there is another question. Yes, somebody is asking, will it be help in clearing the SAP S4HANA simple logistics certification? Definitely, because whatever we are going to talk about, all these things are available in the standard SAP documentations, which will be used for the certification exams. Although certification exams are still not available, but the material is already available, and the same material will be used to pass the exam. So whatever is talked in the material, that anyways we are going to discuss in detail. Madan is asking, currently he is from SD, how much possibility to get in the job of SAP Simple Logistics? This is a good question. See, for example, let's say you are a SD consultant and you are appearing in the interview. Let's say in the interview there are 10 guys and all of them are expert, very good in SD. But definitely you have an edge because you know simple logistics, and many companies now, when you go to any company, they are proposing, they are creating the POCs for SAP S4HANA, because that is the future of SAP. So each and every company is looking for the all-rounder, like he can be able to work on SD as well as the simple logistics functionalities. So that will give you the edge. I'm not saying you will get the job on simple logistics. I'm telling you, because of simple logistics, because you know simple logistics, there are higher chances of landing in the job even in your own area. Definitely, if the job is clearly mentioning that we want someone who has a simple logistics experience or maybe knowledge, then definitely that is something which you will be able to clear. Syed is asking, is Ariba part of SAP HANA Logistics? Ariba is a separate product, as today CRM, SRM are the separate products. So Ariba, if I talk about SAP S4HANA complete product range, Ariba is part of it. But if I talk about the component SAP S4HANA core, Ariba is something which needs to be interfaced. So in short, Ariba, Hybris, these are the cloud-based solutions which are optional to use. But they are separate products, they need to be interfaced with your SAP S4HANA core. Which version we are going to use? As I told you, we'll be doing everything in 1610, which is the latest version from SAP S4, 1610. Okay, now I'll just unmute some of the guys. I think Snow, just a minute, sorry. Snowwin?
Yeah. Hello, Gaurav. Thanks for this wonderful session. Hey, I can hear you. Gaurav, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, thanks for this wonderful session, Gaurav. Gaurav, one small query. Will this sessions cover a bit or a hint of S4HANA Cloud? Let us say we are talking about conversion from classic ECC to S4HANA. Fine. Suppose
Mm-hmm.
the customer decides that fine, he's done with the on-premise system. Okay, he wants to migrate everything on cloud because let us say SAP promises something more on cloud that you can use Fiori seamlessly, you can use off data system, you can punch in data offline. So all these features are available when
Mm-hmm.
you use go for cloud. So will our session, will
Mm-hmm.
our training training will show how if at all customer wants to go for cloud, then what else it would be required, and how to go about.
Yes. See, first of all, when we are talking about the conversion means upgrading the same system. So whatever system you are using currently, you will upgrade the same system. So upgradation of system is only possible when you are using the same hardware. That is the reason it is on-premise. So conversion will happen
Fine.
only on-premise.
Okay.
Now in your scenario, you are done with on-premise and you want to go on cloud. In that case, hardware is going to be different because that is not your hardware, right? So it will be treated like a new implementation because you need to transfer the data from one system to another system. It is not the conversion. Conversion means the data is already available in the system and you are just performing the delta things. But here you need to move all your configuration, all your transaction, all your master data to the new system. So it will be just like a new implementation project.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Gaurav. And one more thing, Gaurav, I want to ask some more things about the tiles, the Fiori tiles. I mean,
Mhm.
fine, SAP is providing some few standard tiles. Suppose if at all we want to any amend it or change it as per the customer requirement, some basic, I am not talking some drastic changes, very supple changes,
Mhm.
very light changes. So,
Mhm.
uh, so are we be in a, will the functional consultant in a position will be in a position to help our customers in this regard?
See, normally not, because when we are talking about the changes in the screen, so it is like the changes in the ABAP screen. Let's say, for example, you are using ME21 screen. You want to add a new field, for example. So that is something which needs to be done by the technical guy because you need to change the code in the background. So similarly, when you talk about SAP Fiori screen, you want to bring in a new field, so it will be taken care by the Fiori consultant using HTML5 technology, which is a technology which is beyond Fiori.
Okay, okay, got it. So that means it's not
Normally
under
will not do.
yeah, yeah, fine.
Definitely,
I
yes.
thought
It is
there will
not
be
under the
some sort of fine. Got it. Thanks, Gaurav. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I don't see any hands raised, and on the chat screen also I think I covered all of us. There is one hand which is raised now, I think. No. Yeah, any other questions, please write on the chat screen or please raise your hand so that I can unmute you. Yes, Virendra, do you want me to unmute you? Yes, Virendra, you are unmuted now. Please go ahead with your
Yeah.
question.
Hi, Gaurav. Yeah. Thanks for the wonderful demo. And one question I have, like, if I see this course curriculum, like, most of the concepts are like deltas in SAP MM overview and deltas in SAP SD overview, like that. But I am
Mm-hmm.
very limited SAP background, and long back I had a MM training, but I'm not much experience on this. But I would like to take this S4 HANA. I mean, I would like to train on this S4 HANA. So in that case,
Mm-hmm.
how would help me, like the course curriculum?
So you said you just taken the training
Yeah.
on SAP MM, but you have still not started your career, right?
Yes. No, I am
Okay.
into the software, but in SAP minimal experience I had. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
So
I'm not expert of all these logistics like SD or MM or PP or these three areas. If I go to this course
SDP,
curriculum,
as I told you, you don't need to be expert in all the areas, because whatever data I'll be talking about, I'll make sure that I'll talk about the functionalities, how it was happening in ECC, and then only I will touch upon the changes in SAP S4. So other functionalities you don't need to worry about. I just want the participants that they should be good in at least one area of SAP. So if you are expert in MM or SD or PP, that is more than sufficient.
okay. And also, will you cover the business processes in this on S4HANA, like whatever the business documents will be created in the MM or SD?
Mhm.
Uh,
Right.
will you like creating S4HANA interfaces, like new interface?
Yes. I'll be showing you transactions from SAP Fiori also, so that you can understand how the screens look like. Okay, Virendra?
I just, I mean, your voice was broken. I mean, I couldn't hear you properly, the last statement.
Okay. You asked that am I going to show the new screens of SAP S4 Fiori, right?
Yeah. And I mean, the business
Yeah.
processes, like in MM, what are the things, PO or
Yes.
PR?
I'll be showing you one complete process, starting with creation of purchase requisition to conversion of purchase order and doing the gate receipt. So I'll be showing you all this process in SAP Fiori, and I also share the link through which you can get the list of all the Fiori apps. So whenever you want to do a particular transaction, if you don't know which Fiori app to look for, so that link will provide you the complete details, like which is a particular app which resembles to the current screen of SAP.
Uh,
Okay, Virendra?
and and also one more question. I think already somebody already asked this question. Like SPRO settings, will
Mm-hmm.
we do SPRO settings for this like MM or SD or TP, these three, at least for some business documents?
Sorry, your voice is not clear. Can you just come again?
Yeah, I think there is a audio disturbance between the two parties. Like, will you also cover the SPRO settings for the business processes like master data setup for MM business
Delta
processes
changes.
or SD business
Delta
processes?
changes. Yes, I'll be talking about
Okay.
SPRO changes also from the delta changes point of view.
Okay, not like complete, like
No,
how.
complete it will not make sense, because
Okay.
we are here just for understanding the deltas. If I go in each and every module and complete the functionalities, it will not help to anybody. So we are only going to talk about the deltas.
Okay. And what is the course duration? How many hours?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Sharan is asking, when it comes to reporting, what are the new things available in Simple Logistics? See, when it comes to reporting, the benefits are less number of tables, SAP HANA in the background, which means the speed. So if you have less number of tables, at the same time you are getting the reports on time, which means the speed is improvised. So ultimately it will help you as a functional consultant. Whenever you are writing the functional specs, you need, it will be very simple compared to earlier, because earlier there were a lot of complication structure, there were a lot of tables. So in that regards, it will help you to run your reports in a simpler way. Also, as I told you, from SAP HANA technical point of view, some of the reports can be developed very easily without hard coding anything, which means the data modeling type of things are available from the technical point of view, through which you can run your, or you can create your reports easily compared to ECC. But that is something from the technical point of view. From the functional point of view, the benefit will be that Your FS will look very simple because it will touch upon very limited number of tables. Okay, I think I answered all the questions. So any further questions? Okay, if not, we can close this session today. Krishna, Sana, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 1 minute, sir. 1 minute.
Can we close, Krishna?
1 minute.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, sir. You can close it. No doubts are there. You can close it.
Sorry.
Yes, sir. You can close it.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Bye all. To see you on the first session. Thank you.